Welcome to the Teacher's Lounge, a podcast dedicated to providing real-life resources for early education professionals. The Teacher's Lounge is hosted by Noelle Dentino and Jessica Day. Together, they bring almost 50 years of combined experience in and out of the early education classroom, offering a wealth of knowledge and practical insights that you need now if you're in childcare. Whether you're a new assistant or making the leap from lead teacher to director, we have you covered. Join us as we delve into the unique challenges and opportunities of each role, sharing our experiences and expertise with practical tools to help you succeed. So, grab a cup of coffee or your favorite drink, and let's jump into the lounge.
Welcome to the Teacher's Lounge, a podcast where educators gather to share stories, insights, and inspiration from the front lines of early education. I'm your host, Jessica Day, and I'm thrilled to have you join us. Teaching is a demanding profession that requires us to constantly give our best to our students and school communities. In the midst of our dedication to others, it's essential to remember the importance of self-care. You may have heard the term self care floating around, but what does it truly mean? And how can we incorporate it into our daily lives? In this episode, we'll delve into the topic of self care, explore its meaning and delete. In this episode, we'll delve into the topic of self care, exploring its meaning and significance for educators like yourself. Whether you already have a self care plan in place or are seeking guidance on how to begin, we'll discuss practical strategies to help you make self care an integral part of your routine. Self care is a popular term these days. Maybe you already have a self care plan in place, or maybe you're looking to start one. It can be difficult to know where to begin. Let's talk about what self care is and how you can make it a part of your routine. Self care is the practice of caring for yourself physically and emotionally. It will look different for everyone because we all have different needs at any given time. Someone who's an delete. For someone who is exhausted and needs a night off, self care could mean picking up takeout and watching TV. For someone who's been living off fast food for a few days, it might mean cooking a nutritious dinner. For one person, self care might look like a weekend alone to recharge. For someone else, it might look like a weekend with friends to reconnect. It's helpful to remember that self care isn't the same thing as indulgence. Sure, self care sometimes means cutting yourself some slack and indulging a little delete. It's helpful to remember that self care isn't the same as indulgence. Sure, self care sometimes means cutting yourself some slack and indulging a little with an ice cream sundae or a lazy day in bed. But other times, it might require a bit of self discipline and effort, like scheduling a doctor's appointment or practicing meditation. The key to figuring out what kind of self care you need is to pay attention to your body and your emotional state. Ask yourself these questions. What does my body need right now? The answer might be something like nutrition, sleep, movement, rest, massage, or even a dental cleaning. What do I need emotionally? You might need to tune out and be alone, or you might need to reconnect with a friend. Maybe you need to laugh, cry, meditate, practice gratitude, or challenge your body by learning a new hobby. Over time, you'll get better at noticing what your body needs and responding in the moment. But especially at first, it can be helpful to put a self care plan into place. That plan will give you a starting point for implementing some self care habits into your routine. Here are some tips that might help. Set goals that match your needs. Everyone's plan will look different. Think about which areas of your life are most in need of self care. Do you frequently forget to eat lunch? Do you consistently push yourself too hard? Have you been putting off doctor's appointments? Delete. Identify the areas you want to work on and then set a few goals for how you could improve your self care. Be specific. For example, if your goal is to get more sleep, Be clear with yourself about what that means. Does it mean getting at least 8 hours a night? Does it mean being in bed by 10 p.m.? You'll know your goals. Delete. You'll know your goal is specific enough if there's a clear way of measuring whether you've achieved it or not. Start small. Don't get too ambitious. If you've never exercised before, you probably shouldn't start off by signing up for a marathon. You're likely to get overwhelmed and shouldn't start. Delete. Start small. Don't get too ambitious. If you've never exercised before, you probably shouldn't start off by signing up for a marathon. You're likely to get overwhelmed and quit. Instead, start off with goals that are within your reach and adjust them as you go. Choose something that you'll stick with. Find a practice that you can be consistent at. Pick something that is fairly easy to fit into your routine and, if possible, that you'll enjoy. Self-care can be easier when you identify some specific goals for yourself. With some practice, you'll get better at noticing what you need and responding accordingly. As we conclude this episode of the Teacher's Lounge, we hope our discussion on self-care has provided you with some valuable insight and inspiration to prioritize your own well-being as an educator. Self-care is not a luxury, but a necessity. It's about nurturing your physical, emotional, and mental well-being so that you can continue to thrive in your role as a teacher. By investing in self-care, you replenish your energy, enhance your resilience, and create a solid foundation for your personal and professional growth. Remember, self-care is a journey and it looks different for everyone. Take time to explore activities and practices that Take the time to explore activities and practices that resonate with you, whether it's finding moments of solitude, engaging in hobbies, practicing mindfulness, or seeking support from your community. We want to express our delete. We want to express our We want to express delete. We want to express our gratitude to all the dedicated educators who contribute their time, energy, and passion to shaping the future of our students. Your commitment and care are invaluable, and it's essential to extend that care to yourself as well. Thank you for joining us in the Teacher's Lounge. We encourage you to reflect on the insights shared today and make self-care a consistent part of your routine. Remember, by nourishing yourself, you create a positive ripple effect in your classroom and beyond.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of the Teacher's Lounge. We're so grateful for your time and hope you found our discussion helpful and inspiring. Remember, you are doing an amazing job in the field of early education, and we're here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, take care, and we'll be back soon with more resources, insights, and inspirations to help you succeed. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on all our social medias to stay up to date on the latest happenings inside the lounge. Keep up the great work. We're cheering you on.